Welcome back to Hey Kentucky. So the Cats take on the Vanderbilt Commodores on Saturday. So we brought back Austin MacGinnis, former Cat, to talk about it. Cats are 5-1 going into this game after the bye week. How successful do you think it's been as a season so far?
I think it's been a great start to the season. We got a whole second half. Coach Stoops has been great of getting teams off to a fast start. And in previous years when we went 5-7, we fell off the back half of the season. I do not expect that this year. The way the strength coach and staff prepared in the offseason is going to allow this team to flourish in the second half.
What do you think has been the difference? I mean, on one thing, the schedule's easier this year than it normally is. Used to play a better Tennessee team at the end, Georgia. Louisville's been better. But do you think there has been an issue with strength coach, or, has there been something that has kept the Cats from playing well in that second half?
I think we've just gotten more depth, more size, getting used to the physicality of the game. The better players you have on your team, the better practices are. It's the same way Coach Cal gets those guys to compete at such a high level because you got elite guys around you. Now the offense and defensive lines are going at it with elite guys, and it's just making them better as a group. And they work hard. Every time I'm over there, someone is putting in work.
Let's talk about Saturday's game. The offense didn't look good against A&M. Benny struggled a little bit to get off to a good start, and Terry Wilson looked bad. Why do you think that happened, and do you expect it to continue?
The last 6 quarters of offense have not been good, so I look for them to get off to a fast start this Saturday against a little smaller Vanderbilt team. I think we'll have more success running the ball. I think we're healthy. It hurt losing Drake Jackson when we're playing one of the best run defenses in the SEC, so that definitely hurt us. And I just look for a fresh Benny Snell. I think they're not satisfied there, so I think they're going to come out hungry and maybe get Terry involved in some runs.
So what about Terry Wilson? I mean, he for the first game against A&M just didn't look comfortable. He just seemed like he just wasn't totally where he needed to be. Do you think that was just something weird happening in that game, or is it a concern for you going forward?
Let's hope it was just something weird in that game. Something did look off. He slid and just looked a little indecisive. Maybe he was trying too hard not to make a mistake instead of playing to win. And so I think this week he'll have a little less pressure on him. Let some fly. If you make a mistake, you make a mistake. And they got the defense to support him, so go out and air it out. No more 3-and-outs. Let's move the ball.
Do you think that was – I wondered if it was the coaches saying, hey, don't make a mistake, and it getting in his head. Do you wonder if that could have been it?
I mean, words are powerful at the end of the day. So they had previously went into Florida. Terry threw a pick, and he fumbled. And I think that fumble got to him about, you can't take on a linebacker DB full speed. And when in that case, it would have helped us against Texas A&M.
Yeah,
so I think they're going to let him just be himself. Don't overthink it. Be yourself. If mistakes happen, he's dynamic enough to make up for those mistakes later on.
And the defense, you're right, can make up for it. Let me ask you about the kicker, okay? We missed a kick at the end of the game. It was 1 yard farther. We talked about it. I said to you, he goes 42. This was 43. It looks like 42 is the number. What do you do if you're Stoops in the kicking game?
Well, I think you got to put some pressure on the kickers this week in practice. Really try to rattle them in practice so that they're ready for those big moments. Every other game, Cats have won by 14 points or more. So this was the first close game, road environment, where you realize how important special teams are. So I look to see some competition there, because competition, I think, makes everyone better. And if it doesn't make you better.
But can he kick it far enough? I mean, at the end of the day, you can practice all you want, but if you can't kick it far enough, you can't kick it far enough.
But there's other guys on the roster that maybe can step into that role. That's where I was going with that. And as far as Miles, he makes those in practice, so it's just not getting tight when it's time to go.
All right, talk to me about this Vandy team. Played against them last year. How do you think the game goes?
I think the Cats get it done. It's a feisty Vanderbilt team. They're going to play with you tough. They played with Notre Dame tough. They were up big on Florida. Keyshawn Vaughn gets hurt. He's going to be explosive. But I think at the end of the day, the Cats get it done. Let's say by 10 points.
Yeah, 10 points is kind of about what I see. I was surprised it opened up at 13. It is important, though. Kentucky's got to get this win. Like, if you don't want to have the second half collapse they've had, they have to win this Saturday. Thank you, Austin. We appreciate it. We will take a break and come back. And by the way, somebody in the NFL signed this guy. He can kick better than half of you.